Hello, friends. Thank you once again for visiting my channel where we get to learn how to solve some of the mathematical problems that we encounter from time to time. In this session, I would want us to look at some question in inequalities. And I want us to approach it from a question like what we have here, where we are asked to solve the compound inequality as stated here. And then after solving the inequality, we are to state the integral values of x that satisfy the inequality. Now remember, we've used the term compound inequality. And the example we have here is of a compound inequality. Now, when we don't have a compound inequality, we have what we call a simple inequality. An example of a simple inequality, just before we carry on with our solution, is when you have an equality like you have x, let's say, is greater than 1, or you could even have y is less than or equal to 4, or even x is greater than y plus 2. These are examples of simple inequalities. You can see in each case we only have one inequality sign. Like here we have greater than or equal to, greater than. But in this case, where we have more than one inequality sign in the same scenario, like here we have 2x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 5x minus 3, which is greater than -1. So here we have two inequality signs, thus making this be referred to as a compound inequality. Now let's get back to the question we are asked to solve. In other words, to find the value of x that satisfy this compound inequality. When you have a compound inequality like what we have here, you can see we have 2x plus 3 on the extreme left and -1 on the extreme right, and we have 5x minus 3 at the center. Now in this case, the solution to this compound inequality is in two parts. Now this middle part is common to both the left and the right hand sides. So what we do, first of all, for instance, we consider the middle part of the inequality with the left side, work it out, then after that we get to the middle side with the right hand side, work it out, and eventually come up with the solution. So let's begin with the middle part. So in the first case, we have 2x plus 3 greater than or equal to 5x minus 3. Remember, even though we have inequality sign, the working of this question is the same as how we do it when we have equality sign. Okay, in other words, we'll collect like terms, and whenever the sign is crossed, when a term is taken from one side to the other, its sign changes. In other words, its negativity or positivity changes as soon as it crosses the side. So let's begin. You can do it whichever way you deem fit. So in my case, I would take like to take 2x to the other side and negative 3 to the other side. So my aim is to collect like terms. So in this case, if I bring this 3 to the other side, we'll have now 3 plus the 3 that is already there is greater than or equal to, and then I bring this 2x to the other side, you'll have 5x minus 2x. So what we have here is 6 is greater than or equal to 3x. Then we divide both sides by 3. So we'll have our 2 is greater than or equal to x, which can also be written, this is still the same as x is less than or equal to 2. Now that's the one part of the solution. Then we get to the other part. So again, we consider the middle part with the extreme right. So we'll have 5x minus 3 is greater than negative 1. Now collecting like terms, we'll have 5x. Now this 3 goes to the other side, greater than positive 3. It's negative. When it crosses, it becomes positive. So 3 minus 1. So we have 5x is greater than 2. Then we divide both sides by 5 to have x is greater than 2 over 5. You're also free to write it as x is greater than 0.4. So you'll still be okay when you write that x is greater than 0.4. That is 2 divided by 5. Now, because it was a compound inequality, our solution should also be compound. Now, in this case here, this is simple, and they both apply to the same compound inequality. So what we need to do is to generate a compound inequality out of these two inequalities. It's always advisable to start from, you put, because x, we have x and x, so x at the center, it's common to both of them. Then we are saying that x, here x is greater than 0.4, meaning that 0.4 is less than x. So that we can write here as 0.4. Always start with the smallest number on the left hand side. And then you pick this other one, you can see, but the same x is less than 2. So this is the solution to our compound inequality. Now, remember, we were also asked to state the integral values that satisfy the inequality. So how do we get that? Integral value, the term integral comes from the word integers, whole number. So in other words, we are being asked to state the whole numbers that are in this range between 0.4 and 2. But take note that here we have a strict inequality, and here we have what we would call a conditional inequality. In other words, this one, x is strictly greater than 0.4, but here x is less than or equal to 2. It is advisable for visualization, in order to come up with the integers, to draw a number line, represent this solution on a number line. So you can see we have the value of x ranges from 0.4 to 2. So on a number line, of course, a number line is a line that represents whole numbers. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and that can go on and on up to where we do not know infinity. Now, according to what we have here, 0.4 would be, if this number line represents the x-axis, or where the x values, 0.4 would be somewhere near 0, near 1. Sorry, would be somewhere near 0, near 0. That is before 1. And then we have 2 here. So you locate 2. Now, because we are being told that x is strictly greater than 0.4, but less than or equal to 2, then this is the range of this. Now, from here, you can pick the whole numbers, the integral values. So, like you can see from 0.4 to 0 to 2. Now, because we are told x is less than or equal to 2, it means 2 is also included. So the integral values are 1 and 2. So this is the solution to our question. Thank you so much for your indulgence and for watching. If you are new to this channel, I request you to subscribe and also press that bell button so that wherever and whenever I post a new video, you'll be notified. If you have any questions or any comments to make, please get to the chat section and I would be glad to consider and to answer any of your questions or concerns. Bye and always take care.